Okay, we should be live. As usual, please let me know if you have any audio or visual issues, and I'll do my best to resolve them as we go along. I think I'm right on time today. Well, now, last week, what happened was, the feed didn't start for, another minute, so you guys will probably think I'm late. But I was on time. Alright, we'll give it a second to kick in. Also, I don't have any questions yet. But in any event, for those of you who are just watching this not in real time, my name is Nick. This is Board Game Brawl, and this is our weekly Q&A. This is where you give me answers and I give you questions? Something like that. No, I think you give me questions and I give you answers. And we all try to go home without any hurt feelings. So, let's see. Channel stuff. Yes, I know I didn't get to the review for Eldritch Dreamlands. That's, literally next on my schedule. It's that and Masmorra, the Dungeons of Arcadia, are my next two reviews, and I might do those today because I think I might have to postpone my game group tonight. So if that's the case, you'll see those sooner rather than later, maybe as soon as tomorrow morning. And I might do that Lost Reviews video I've been threatening to do in so many words. The other thing is I did get some cool new games, so if my game group happens tomorrow, then you'll see that soon too. I'll post about that on Facebook later. And what else? Finally, at the end of the 2016 stuff, I might do a top 10 finally the feed starts for me. I don't know if you guys saw that earlier. Very strange. I don't know what's going on there. Might just be on my end. Anyways, watch this later and see if that first minute reappears. And then as far as so I finished all the top 2016 stuff. Sorry it took so long. I just finished up last night. I may do the top 10 anticipated of 2017. Honestly, I have to compile that and see if it's actually worth doing. Yeah, Chris is saying we jumped in mid-speech. I don't know what's going on with my... maybe it's if I start the preview too close to... I don't know. If you guys aren't familiar with how you start a live feed... you have to start it as a preview first and then hit start streaming, and I think maybe if you start the preview too late, it doesn't have time to catch up. Some weird thing like that. You guys only missed a couple minutes. You basically just missed me telling you what the show was and what's happened. So let me just recap real quick. You should see reviews for Eldritch Dreamlands and Masmorra very quickly, and then possibly a top 10 anticipated of 2017. That's all. In any event, let's see, what else do I need to mention? I had a lot of previews that just stacked up, so unfortunately those had to go up at the same time. One of the previews I just posted was from October, but they just happened to want me to post it this week, so I had to do it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to whatever we have in the comments. Dave says, Trump says, relax, don't do it when you want to come to it. Relax, don't do it when you build a wall. Very funny. Yeah, it's been a crazy week, huh? To put it mildly. What did they say? Let's see, when I was out getting breakfast this morning, it was, what's the name of that show? Wait, don't tell me. His opening joke was something like, oh, Bugbear's here too. His opening joke was something to the effect of the host, Trump's done so much in the last week. The good news is he can just take the rest of his 4 years off, but something tells me that's not going to happen. Very spooky, crazy stuff going on this year. Yes, I do believe that if anyone in the board gaming community was going to be put on a CIA blacklist, it would probably be me. I'm just too dangerous. I'm a dangerous... agent, a dangerous asset. Hold on a second. Since I'm waiting for questions to fill in anyways, I am going to clear out my inventory in Future Fight so I can keep grinding. Sounds dirty. I need to keep grinding, so yeah, I really am addicted to this game. It's great though. I recommend it for anyone who doesn't have a family, loved ones, anything like that. Alright. Well, whatever. I'll worry about it later. Okay. The last update had Kate Bishop, Ironheart, and Medusa. Medusa and Kate Bishop are great. Ironheart is fine, except that she's a paywall character, and for a paywall character, she's pretty weak. I mean, not like weak, but she's not like the other ones. She's not like the others. Anyways, let's see. Do you own Battle Lore 2nd Edition? What are your thoughts on it? I do own it. I look at it all the time. It's great decoration. The box looks fantastic on my shelf. I highly recommend it. No, I'm sorry, I haven't played it. Actually, that's one of many games I used to get from math trades. And math trade games are because I didn't spend money on them. They just sort of show up one day. I have no sense of urgency to play with them, and they just go into the stockpile. Not to be confused with the game stockpile. But I have heard that it's pretty good and better than the original, and I would like to get to it at some point. The other problem is, I know you could probably play that multiplayer, but I think it's meant to be played 2-player. It's hard for me to play long 2-player games. I can always get a quick one knocked out at the beginning or end of a night with some straggler, right? But long-form 2-player games, it's hard. I don't know. Let's see. Have you got more sleep this week? A little more. I think I averaged 6 hours of sleep a night this week, which is still below what you should be getting as an adult. I think 7 is the number. Although there's always conflicting reports on that. Some people say 8, and some people say 8 is too much. If you sleep too much, it's harmful to you. But if you don't sleep enough, of course, it's harmful to you. Who knows? But I was happy to get 6 hours a few nights this week. Yeah. Sorry, this question has been over-asked. I haven't seen you live in like a year. Wondering if you backed anything new on Kingdom Death Monster 1.5 Kickstarter. Sure, I'll answer that again. Yes, I did. I did back it. I don't know. I don't know why. I just don't feel comfortable saying what my pledge was. Maybe because there's still time for people to add to their pledge, and I don't want to be the person that influences them to do that, because it's a lot of money for anything in that Kickstarter, and you should find out what's comfortable for you. Even Adam Poots, I've said this several times, even Adam Poots says, I'm going crazy, you don't go crazy. Don't go crazy with your pledge. Just do what you can. And so I backed it quite a bit. I will say the most important thing for me in the Kickstarter was the 1.5 upgrade, because I've already got the base game. So I probably pledged a lot less than a lot of other people, because I didn't need to get the base game again, or any of the original expansions that are being reprinted. So that was my main thing. I was very keen to get that. Message retracted. Oh my god, it is the CIA. Let's see. Where do we leave off? I like Battle Lore, sort of Memoir 44-ish, but no one ever bothers reviewing the expansions, which is a shame as they add to the game. Well, I'm sure Vassal has. You think he hasn't? I don't know. I haven't kept track, but I thought he used to when the new edition first came out. What is Marvel Future Fight? What sort of game is it? Okay, everyone, blame Chris for this. He asked. So, no, I'll give you the quick version. Marvel Future Fight is a mobile game. It's a free-to-play game, and I'll say this up front. People say, free-to-play, but you have to spend a lot of money, right? I spend money on the game. A lot of other people spend money on the game, obviously, if it's still afloat. But as from the very few mobile games I've played, this is the most free-to-play game of them. Most of the people in my alliance are free-to-play. Most of the people I see on the forums, on Reddit, are free-to-play completely. There's tons and tons of posts about it, and how you should play the game as a free-to-play player. Quite a few other people will only spend like $10 a month for like a couple of subscription packages that you can get in the game. And that's it. So it's a very reasonable game from that regard, and you only have to spend money to like expedite things, which I don't mind doing. But what the game actually is, as far as the core gameplay, is it is a grindy, number crunching, mathy RPG, and it scratches all of my itches for that. There are over 100 characters in the game. They are all from the Marvel Universe. The only thing they don't have the rights to, they have the same limitations as the movies. They can't use the mutants, and they can't use anything related to the Fantastic Four. But everything else is fair game, and there's a deep roster of characters. Trust me, if there's any other Marvel character that was at least prominent at some point and had their own book, they're probably in the game. We're waiting eagerly for Cloak and Dagger. That's a major one we don't have yet. But a lot of other people are in it. And we're supposed to be getting more. I think Devil Dinosaur and or Moon Girl is coming into the game soon. But anyways, It's a grindy RPG. Every single character that's in the game can be modified, spec'd out. All the typical like D&D type stats, like hit points and strength and all that. All kinds of gear, obelisks that you put on them, crystals, all this type of stuff. And you just run missions. There's tons of different missions, tons of different game modes. You get into an alliance. There's alliance tournaments. It's great. I do love it. But it is a grind. If you don't like grinding for like a couple hours every day, don't do it. Otherwise, you won't get the most out of it, I should say. Have you ever come to a point where you don't have room left for new games? If so, how did you decide which games to get rid of? I'm getting to that point. It's hard to make the cut. I don't have a problem with deciding to get rid of games. I have a Patreon where I sell games, and yes, I know I'm late on that. I'm actually hoping to do that today, to put out my sell sheet for that. And hope that people buy as many games as they possibly can. I put a lot of games on my list that are fine games that I just want to get rid of because I need the room. I have a storage unit where I keep extra games. This is the month I want to make this the last month I have the storage unit. By next month I want to get rid of everything, every excess thing that I have, and make room because I'm getting sick of it. So you should. If you want to have access to my sell sheet, back me on Patreon for at least the $10 level. You will have immediate access to the sell sheet, and I'm probably going to be slicing prices again just to try and get rid of stuff. We do that once a month. And, I mean, to your question, like, okay, how do I decide to get rid of what I decide to keep? At this point, it's just, if I'm not actively wanting to play the game, even if it's a game I haven't played in a while, but I'm like, there's hope someday. But if that game, there's just no hope, or I just don't want to, like, at that moment in time, it's gone. I'm not interested in like, oh, maybe someday someone in my group might want to play it. It's gone. That's the beginning and end of my criteria. But that, of course, is me. I'm very weird and different, and I have tons of games, and other people should be a little more specific in why they would want to keep something. Thoughts on Clank? Well, you haven't been reading or watching my lists, Louis. That's fine, though. So it was in my top 100, and it was in my top 10. Therefore, it was in my top 10 of 2016, which I just posted last night. So I like it quite a lot. Here in France, we've had a lot of wiretapping released that make accusations of the funding by Libya of the 2017 presidential election and more and more believable. Hold on a second. Just checking my volume real quick. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that when these accusations started getting thrown about that Russia was tampering with our elections, France and Germany came out and said, yeah, this stuff happens all the goddamn time. And it's insane, not from Russia and from other countries. And it's disturbing. Now, I don't know how, I believe that there was some tampering. Now, I don't know if that tampering was just like propaganda that was being force fed into like our Facebook feeds and that kind of stuff, or if it was something more sinister. I don't know. But the fact that that's where we're at, and that half of the country, or a little less than half of the country, doesn't care, is disturbing. That's the most disturbing part of all of it. What does one actually have to do to get a copy of Millennium Blades from level 99 these days? Well, it's funny you asked that, Dave. By pure coincidence, I was cleaning out my inbox on one of my email accounts yesterday, and I had promotional spam, it's not spam, but promotional mailing list mail from level 99 saying level 90 Millennium Blades is almost here, or something like that. So I didn't even actually open it and read it. It was just a headline, or a subject. So I would say you have a chance of getting it soon. I'm guessing that what he meant by that was, what's his name? Brad Talton, who I think writes those. I'm guessing what he meant by that was that it will be available in the store soon. Why'd you want that game? It's not very good. I thought that you could like whatever you want. Millennium Blades was a beautiful mess. I kind of felt the same way about it. I thought about games like the original Android and what's that other one? I had a thought and I lost it, but yeah, like a fantastic concept, wonderful concept, great idea, kind of a slog to play through. But others heavily disagree. Millennium Blades is a very well-regarded game. Let's see. How are you? Well, thank you for asking. I'm okay. I'm always tired, and I feel bad not getting more work done for the channel, and it just doesn't feel like I have enough time to do the things I want to do. But hey, I always say in these situations, I'm happy, healthy, and I've got a home and a dog, and everything's, as far as that goes, I'm peachy A-okay. How are you? I did have a really crappy day yesterday, though. I posted about this on my personal Facebook page where, like, I actually took the day off of work because I needed to get some chores done I could not do during the weekend or at night and while I was working. So I had to take a day off. Well, I took it off well in advance, and ended up missing one of my appointments because I overslept because I was too tired, and just made the other one. And then tried to take my dog to the dog park afterwards. She got into a fight with a dog. That other dog's owner, even though there was no injuries, nothing happened, that other dog's owner threatened to call the cops and have Bugbear put down. So we had to flee the scene. Then on the way back, I decided to stop and get a coffee, and while we were in the car, someone in front of me slammed on their brakes as hard as they could, and I had to slam on my brakes to avoid hitting him and swerve a little bit, and that sent Bugbear's head, because she was kind of laying down next to me, it sent her head forward into my coffee cup, which exploded and got coffee all over in my car, and her. So she was okay though. So the next hour was me cleaning out my car and cleaning up Bugbear, and delayed everything else I wanted to do that day, like working on the channel, even further. So really annoying. Did you get into Star Wars Destiny much? It looks cool, but I found I'm just done with collectible type games. Hearing people buy 3 to 4 gravity feeds to get all the super rares is crazy. Yeah, well, for sure, I'm not doing that crap anymore. I got out of Dice Masters completely. And so I haven't done my Star Wars Destiny review. I'll probably do it at some point. I have played it. I was extremely disappointed in it. I'm like, this is what people are really into? I really think at this point... Look, I'll get some flack for this. People will be upset with me. That's fine. I'm just going to say it. We're at a point now where people will just buy any shit that has Star Wars on it. And as far as board games go, that makes me unhappy. Because for a while there, it looked like we were doing really good. I didn't like X-Wing, but I recognized it as a quality game. I played Attack Wing, and it was fun. So I'm like, okay, I can understand why people would like X-Wing if they like Star Wars. I like Imperial Assault. I'm kind of out of it now, but I liked it. You know, I made it on my top 100 because it's the Star Wars Descent. That's great. I liked Star Wars Rebellion. So in other words, we had a spate of really good Star Wars games there. And then, of course, there's still all the crap coming out of Hasbro and Mattel. And now there's Star Wars Destiny. And they keep slapping that. There was some crappy game that no one even played from Fantasy Flight, where they took a 2-player card game and just slapped the Star Wars logo onto it. I always thought the Star Wars LCG was terrible. I don't know. I just feel like we're finally to the point where that license is being misused terribly. And also, I just hate the idea of another collectible game. I'm fine with Magic doing it because they know what they're doing. Their fans love them, and they seem to take care of their fans. If WizKids taught us anything, it's that some companies just don't know how to handle a collectible card game. Maybe Fantasy Flight will end up being different, but I'm not interested in getting involved with it again. Hey, I'm starting to get addicted to the game Quarriors, and I want to buy an expansion. What expansion do you recommend to start with? Wow, no one's asked me about Quarriors in a very long time. Let's see, what are the ones that are really good? You want to get, I think, Quarmageddon. One of the ones that introduced the new rule set, although you can just look up the rules online. Quarmageddon's a really good one. Quartifax, God, I hate the names of those things, is really good. I wasn't too keen on the last big one they did, which I think was Light and Shadow. It's just okay. But I thought Quartifax was really good, and Quarmageddon. Those are two of the ones I would recommend. Have you played the Time Stories expansion? If so, what is your favorite? Yes, I've played all of them that I've had access to. I know that there's the Arctic one that some people seem to have played. I don't know if that's because it's available in Europe first, or just some people in the US got it early. But I don't even know if people reviewed it yet. They might have, I'm not sure. But I've played everyone before that. Oh, I haven't played the fan-made expansions. I'm not really interested in that. But every official release before that I've played. And I've liked them all to varying degrees. I think the worst of them was Under the Mask, the Egyptian-themed one. which was just weak story-wise, not as compelling. But it was still time stories and it was still fun. The best one is the Prophecy of Dragons, which you would know if you watched one of the videos put out yesterday. I'm just teasing. But yeah, Prophecy of Dragons is great. Do you even war game, bruh? Any miniature war games you into? I've been playing Wrath of Kings from Simon. I was interested in that, just because I liked the way the models looked, but I never got into it. No, I haven't played any miniature war games. If I was going to do so, I would get into War Machine and Hordes. I really like those universes, the themes, the way the models look. Oh, some of the models look amazing, especially the Hordes. I'm not as into the War Machine half as I am into Hordes. Some of those are just stunning. And then other ones I actually bought. This has been sitting here forever. I used some store credit I had. Oh boy. If I do this, everything's going to go everywhere. Let's see. Here, I'll show you all this crap. Notes from the top 100. Bag of other bags. More top 100s. Italian takeout menu. Oh, index cards for various sundries things. Okay. Let's see. Weird Japanese game about a toilet bowl. Let's see. Hero Realms extra stuff. I'm getting to it. Hero Realms, the actual game. A game called Arma from Japan. That's only for 3 players. No, 3 to 5, I think. Here's what I was trying to get to show you. I bought this thing with store credit, which is Infinity. Operation Red Duel, which is supposed to be some sort of starter box for Infinity. I thought the Infinity game looked really cool, which is like a miniatures war game. It's supposed to be more accessible than some other war games. I'm also not like anti-Games Workshop. I don't really care. I don't have a dog in that fight. Some people hate Games Workshop. I think they're annoying sometimes, not annoying some other times. See, this is why I didn't want to do that. Let's see. What just fell down here? Transient World, another weird Japanese game. Stupid loot boxes I want to just throw away now. And this game that requires a VR. You have to make a little VR device with your phone or something. Alright, whatever. Anyways, what was I even talking about? Oh, yeah, wargaming. I would not be adverse to playing something in the Warhammer universes. If I had to choose one or the other, I'd probably play Warhammer 40k. I like fantasy better in general, like fantasy as a genre, but not so much in Warhammer fantasy. I think the Warhammer 40k universe interests me more. I like to play a Tau faction. So I always like the Tau. I think they look really cool and weird compared to all the rest of them. They look more like almost anime mechs, but not. Actually, they're more like mech warrior mechs. And I read a book, the only Warhammer book I ever read. It was based off of a video game. It was just sitting in the county library, and I read it. It was good. It was surprisingly good for a novel based off a video game, based off of a miniatures game. It was called Fire Warrior. I recommend that book. It's a dumb, cheap, pulpy read, but you'll finish it in an afternoon, but it was worth it. Let's see. My friend backed KDM for $2,300 Canadian. That's fine. I mean, Canadian dollars are like what? It's like 10 cents on a dollar. So what $200 maybe? No, okay, I'm joking. That's a lot of money. I'm guessing he got a Satan pledge. There were several Satan pledges, and then there was the frog dog pledge, which were like the everything pledges. It was not that insane. Alright, I hope he likes the game, is all I could say. But hey, listen, assuming your friend lives near you, you are going to be the direct benefactor of his reckless spending, and heck, God bless you. Are you thinking of the Dark Souls board game in March/April? Probably not, unless it gets really good reviews, because it looks terrible. Thematically, it looks fine. The miniatures look fine, and I haven't played Dark Souls. I played Demon Souls. I would like to play them someday, so I have nothing against the video games whatsoever. I just think I saw some of the gameplay, and I'm like, oh, it looks bad. But I hope I'm wrong. Marvel Feature Fight versus Marvel Legendary Steel Cage Deathmatch. Who you got? I mean, if you put a gun to my head and I had to choose, I suppose I would choose Legendary because I don't have to pay anymore for it. I mean, yes, I'll buy future expansions, but I don't have to pay for this, but I do. I don't know. I have really loved the distraction of Marvel Future Fight from my daily problems. So I might have to go with that after all. Board Game Brawl. Hiring? I'm asking for a friend. No. It's just me, and trust me, given my output, I'd be a horrible boss, and I can't pay much, if at all. I'm accepting interns to work from home. That's not true either. You know, what's really funny is I got into an argument with someone on my personal Facebook feed the other day. It was a friend of a friend, so I don't know the guy. But my friend posted something saying, like, arguing that it was perfectly fine. We talked about this briefly last week. That it's perfectly fine for Richard Spencer, the Nazi white nationalist, to get punched on the street when he was in the middle of an interview. I argued that while he is a repugnant person, and I hate white supremacists and neo-Nazis, or whatever they want to, the alt-right, whatever they want to cloak themselves in, I despise them and everything that they stand for. And yet, you do not put your hands on another human being unless you are being threatened or someone you see is defenseless is being threatened. You do not, okay? It just seems so simple to me. We're not at war with these people. The United States has had a long history of cracking down on white supremacists who do break the law and take it and escalate it to a point where they're just monsters, okay? And so I'm not saying that these are good people by even a wide stretch of the imagination. But you don't attack someone, right? So on Facebook, I made that argument, and one of my friend's friends immediately jumps down my throat and was very hostile, and to the point where he looked at my Facebook profile and saw that I had as my job works at Board Game Brawl as a reviewer, right? And he assumed, oh, this must be a larger company. So he posted on my Board Game Brawl page, hey, one of your reviewers has problematic views on Nazis. Like, I'm a Nazi sympathizer because I don't want to punch someone on the middle of the street. And so he said you should do something about that. And he posted a link of a picture of our conversation. And I'm like, first off, I thought it was hilarious because it's like, oh God, I hope the boss doesn't fire me. Oh, that's me. But also that I've been in many internet arguments, sadly. I think I'm kind of done with that at this point. This happened to be on my Facebook wall, so I decided I'd leap into the fray. But I've been in many Facebook arguments with really reprehensible people I've seen online, like during the election, from the alt-right and things like that. Not a single one of them thought to like call my actual employer or post on Board Game Brawl. And I'm like, but the supposed like far left, progressive, kind, liberal that I was arguing with decided to do that. I think it was pretty endemic of where we are right now, where I think that half the country had already lost their minds because they voted for Donald Trump, and or less than half, and the other half, or a little bit more than half, have lost their mind because they've just lost their mind since November 8th. It's pretty disturbing, and I'm pretty depressed, and that's why I don't like to watch the news anymore. Have you played the new Mansions and Mansions expansion? Mansions and Mansions? Did I just say that? Mansions of Madness expansion? Did you enjoy the new scenarios? I have not. It was on my list of things to do last week and we didn't get to it. I'm staring right at it in my pile. Mansions of Madness main box, and then the... What's it called? Something... Beyond the Threshold. Something the Threshold. Yes, I gotta get to that. I gotta get to Arkham Horror, the LCG as well. On your Patreon, can you ship your board games to the UK? I would be willing to do that. You need to give me some time though, because I'll have to like put I can usually estimate right off the bat what shipping will be for anyone who's domestic or even potentially from Canada. With the UK, you're gonna have to give me a little bit of extra time, but yeah, I would be willing to do that. Yeah, for sure. I'm having a blast playing Dune the board game. Simple, few rules. It's an awesome game, especially if you chain a big attack. We will agree to disagree, Kevin. But it's not a bad game, but I was not enthused with it. If you have played them all, can you put them in order of your faves? Adrenaline, Energy Empire, and Great Western Trails. I'm having a hard time deciding what to get. Let's just leave them in that order. Oh, because I haven't played any of them. Sorry. I'm actually right here. Let's see, just so you guys can see. I'm surrounded by games. I'm at my work table, and I'm therefore surrounded by crap. And right there, next to my boob mouse pad, is Adrenaline. That's Adrenaline right there. Let's see. Of the three of them, I don't know. Great Western Trail is just in the top 100 now on Board Game Geek, because I think reviewers and the reviewer effect, people who are really in love with that publisher. But I've also heard very good things about Adrenaline. Hi from Greece, Nick. Well, hi yourself. I like hearing from people from other countries. So say Electronic Arts wants to make a Mass Effect tabletop game, and you get to choose the publisher and genre and developer if you have one in mind. What do you pick? The safe bet is... I want to say the safe bet is Fantasy Flight Games as far as component quality, but I've been pretty disappointed with their boring games lately. Like I was just talking about Doom. Sorry. Cool Mini or Not is so hit or miss now. Some of their games are fantastic, and some of their games are I've played the last 3 games I've played of theirs, not necessarily the last 3 they've released, but the last 3 I've played of theirs have been hang me, get me out of this game. So, who? Man, I'd let the Asmodee Group take care of it. And I know that sounds terrible. You're going to let that multinational corporation that's devouring all these smaller companies take care of such a blessed franchise? Yeah, actually I would, because they have some of the best, they've worked with some of the best designers and developers over time. I mean, shit, let Antoine Balza have control of that thing, man. Or the guy that does Seasons. They make their games look really good. They're not heavy miniatures laden games, but they always look amazing. Yeah, that's a safe bet. I know. If I could mix and match, I'd say take the design or Fantasy Flight Games is part of Asmodee, but it's hard to remember that sometimes. But yeah, take the Fantasy Flight Studio, take their component aesthetic, what they bring to the table as far as that, and mix it together with some of the design talent from Asmodee as a larger group, or even Plaid Hat. I think is the best way to go there. You want something that's very story intensive and decision making, but also a good game. I've heard that other publishers have had problems with that, like the Banner Saga apparently sucks. The tabletop game, at least. Let's see. Should my group and I play the Time Stories expansions in order? I heard there's an underlying story amongst the expansions. Yes, and if you have access to them all, you should, I would say. It's not such an overarching shell story that you're oh, we missed something important. I think you're fine. But if you do have them, I would play them in order. Hey Nick, with 24,000 subs, you are by far one of the more watched board game reviewers. Feel if you add other content, you can truly make past the 100,000 subs and do this full time, make the plunge. Well, it's just a matter of I just don't have the time right now. I try to do what I can, and I understand it. I'm very happy with the subs that I have. I'm grateful for every single subscriber that I have, but of course I know I could be growing much faster. There was a time where I was getting 1,000 subscribers a month, but then things peter out because there's only so many people interested in this type of video. But then it's sort of settled down to 600 to 700. Now it's less than that, just because I haven't been putting out any videos. And I'm very open and honest about that. That's how a YouTube video channel works. You get out of it what you put into it. It's not for lack of wanting to. It's just a matter of time and energy and what I can do together with my full-time job, because I still have to work and make a living and put food on the table or in the bowl on the ground, as the case may be. So yeah, and I don't know. Do I want to do this full-time? part of me has been, I love board games as much as I ever did, but there's part of me that's pushing back against the idea of making it into a living because it's taking away some of the specialness and fun. I kind of long for the old days. There was like a 1 year period after I was hardcore into board games, but before I started doing a channel about board games, and that 1 year period was amazing. Because I was just exploring and discovering new things. I didn't have to worry about reviewing things. I had to very carefully decide what I was going to play, and therefore it felt more special to me and more devastating when the game was terrible. But I loved that, and it's been tough to get back to that. So I don't know. It's a tough tightrope, but I thank you for the kind words, and trust me, I cherish every subscriber I have and everyone I will hopefully get in the future. But, you know, it's interesting, too, just to continue on that for a moment, because I had this thought. My favorite channel on YouTube, the only one I watch with regularity, is Red Letter Media. They are movie reviewers. They're hysterical. I love those guys. They are most notable for their Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, and other prequel long-form reviews. And they just have done so much other great stuff that people don't even know them for. And they've got 500,000 subscribers. They just passed that in the past month. Compared to, even though they've been around for like 5 years, maybe a little bit longer at this point, in some form or another. And you compare that to other movie channels like, I don't even know the name, like Nostalgia Critic, or what's that one guy's name? Stuckman. And Screen Junkies, Collider, who just do so much better than them, even though I personally think their content is garbage. Okay? I can't stand any of those channels I just listed, even though I can't say that they're bad people or that their channels are poorly laid out. I just can't stand watching them. It's just not my thing. So why does Red Letter Media, who is very well regarded, and if you ask someone, they'll say, oh yeah, those guys are great, why do they only have 500,000 subscribers? Well, it's because they're just doing what they want to do. They put out a few videos a month. They don't like incessantly say, click the subscribe button and like and share on Facebook and MySpace. And they make fun of people that do that stuff. And it certainly hurt them. They could have millions of subscribers, but they just kind of don't want to do that. I decided to stop doing the dumb loot crate thing that I did for about a minute. And I'm probably going to delete the videos next time I remember to do so, because I'm like, I still do the paid previews, but at least that's giving you some content, and for you to make an informed decision. But I just never want to be a shill. I don't want to have interviews with publishers and designers on my channel. I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to go to conventions just to make videos. Like, here's my my convention trip. Over 30 videos that only a fraction of people will actually watch. This has never been my style. I like Star Wars Destiny, but it's impossible to get started simply because you can't find the boosters anywhere. It's interesting. Well, do they have it available at like Target? Sometimes Target sells Fantasy Flight Games stuff. I'm curious about that, because that was now I think Dice Masters is still going and still has its following, but I really don't think it's what it was. And I think a huge part of that reason is because the WizKids, I don't even remember what their reasoning was. WizKids just decided, we're not selling the booster packs through some of the traditional online retailers anymore, like Cool Stuff. Well, they only get like starter packs, and that's it. And I'm like, are you what? Or why would you cut off the supply to your people that want to buy it? This is very weird. So I wonder if Destiny is doing the same kind of stuff. I am going to have to disagree with you about the Star Wars Destiny game. Any thoughts on the superhero scene on TV? As far as like just what I think about it lately, I did post a rant about that along with my link to this just because I wanted to on Facebook last night about how I think the last episode of The Flash, which was the new one after the mid-season break, I hate that. But the one that just posted this week was awful because of a huge flaw in the show's logic. Like, without getting too much into specific spoiler stuff, the whole question Barry's asking, like, is the future set? can we actually change the future, or is it permanent? What? The whole show has been about changing the future. Everything you've done has changed some version or someone's version of the future. Are you shitting me? What? And that show has just jumped the shark as far as I'm concerned. We are fully in post-shark jumping Flash territory, and I'm really disappointed with it. On the other hand, Arrow continues to be better and better. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is awesome. That's the best superhero show on TV right now. I'm calling it. People have written off that show because of the first half of the first season. I somewhat understand that. It's so good right now. Supergirl is okay. Supergirl is dumb. It's hard to hate it. It's just so schmaltzy. I don't know if I like what's going on with the sisters' relationship. Don't take that the wrong way. What I mean is they're really making this into some huge melodrama, even though it's only been going on for like 4 episodes. And I'm like, do these people even know how a natural relationship would work? How you date for a little while and then you start to get a little bit closer? Whereas like these two are just like, oh, we should get married. I want to be with you forever. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. If you were a hitman, would you be John Wick? No, because I can't watch that movie. Someone made the mistake of telling me that in the beginning scene, the Beagle gets killed. I can't. I won't watch it for that reason. I don't care how awesome it is. I can't. Oh, that's my weak spot. I don't even like watching a normal animal get killed in a movie, especially a dog or a cat. But then, if it's a beagle and an adorable one at that, I'm out! I'm out, motherfucker! Time Stories expansions are available in France months before the release date in the US, I think. Yeah, I have a vague remembrance that happened with one of the last ones. I made a note of it. Well, whatever. It takes time to translate. There's so much text in that game. I can understand. I can understand them saying, well, we can't get our translators to go through all of this for like another month or two. Should we just sit on this French version? And them saying, Sacre bleu! Oh, God. What have you been playing? Do you have time to play? I do have some time to play. I have been playing whatever I can. Let's see. What did I play that I still need to review? Masmorra, New Angeles. I restarted Pandemic Legacy because I just wanted to. I wanted to redo it from scratch because we made a lot of mistakes in our first game. Excuse me. Cosmic Encounter. Yeah. Ugh, no Tau in Forbidden Stars breaks my heart. I know. We would have gotten it eventually, too. We would have gotten the Tau faction, but they stopped. I know there's fan-made expansions. I'd be really curious to see what people think about those. I hope they're play-tested and vetted well enough, and if that's the case, I'd be willing to play them. Even though I don't ever do fan-made stuff. Hi, everyone. Have you reviewed Clank yet? I have. Oh. Debt Collector. I have reviewed Clank. You can check that out on my channel. Just search for Clank. Operation Red Veil, if you need any help with Infinity, please feel free to contact me, Nick. Well, thank you very much. I know Infinity is a very well-loved game at this point. Define... Okay, this is in regards to the Richard Spencer thing where I said you should not attack someone who has not threatened you. And the Mr. E says, define threaten. I personally feel threatened by these kind of backwards people. Well, listen, here's a point that I made. I hate religion. I hate organized religion. I would never... so many people still are into religion to varying degrees that I would never, like, judge or look down on or, like, personally... like, I don't know, verbally assault or whatever a person that I know that's into religion, because I'm not into going after individuals like that. But organized religion is a terrible thing. And the people who are the mouthpieces for these organized religions, I don't care which one you want to talk about either, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, whatever, the priests and the rabbis and the imams and all the officials of all these different religions, some of them are fine people, some of them have done terrible things with their words or their actions throughout the ages, and to the point, and now we're in a point where religion is having the separation of church and state is almost gone at this point in the United States, and it's having an adverse effect on people's lives. We're now Planned Parenthood is being attacked both financially and has happened physically. And the people who would go there for access to abortion and women's health care and birth control is now all being attacked and under assault for religious reasons. Number one primary reason all this is happening. Now we have Muslims being banned from the country because the other religions, our dominant religion, doesn't want that other religion out of here. And in the meantime, while I have no sympathy for the Muslim religion, the people following it are suffering in their countries and can't come here as refugees. All because of religion. Now, I feel threatened by that in a way. I'm like, this is making our lives worse. Do I have carte blanche if I'm walking down the street, which I don't do, but let's say I did, and I passed a priest or an imam or a rabbi and said, you are representative of every bad thing that's happening to this country right now, and you got to pay for it, buddy. Do I have the right to do that? Of course I don't. So when I see a white supremacist on the street, and I'm like, that guy has vile thoughts. If he could, he, just like someone who is a practitioner of religion, would pass and enforce laws that would be horrendous for what I consider to be a viable state of affairs in 2017 America. So, why is that okay? Why is it okay to punch that person because of what he thinks? Again, Richard Spencer, awful human being, but he hasn't, to my knowledge, or to the knowledge of the law, killed anyone, hurt anyone, directly told other people to do those things. Yes, I understand there's a difference between directly assaulting someone and inciting violence, and that for some people that difference is very small. But I just think, and I know people hate the slippery slope argument, in some cases it is bullshit, I think that's where we're at. I think that I have seen the slope and saw a lot of my liberal friends sliding down it. And I will not lose an ounce of sleep over someone like Richard Spencer getting attacked because I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for what it represents and what might come to pass because of it. And I keep saying, if one of my liberal heroes, if like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Trevor Noah or John Oliver or any of these very public liberals who, I was going to say Bill Maher, but a lot of people, liberals don't like Bill Maher either, but I do. But if one of my liberal heroes was just punched in the street because some conservative walked by and decided to just do that because in that person's mind, that liberal hero of mine was a threat to them, well, I've lost any kind of ground to stand on to say that that was wrong if I therefore say that it's wonderful that Richard Spencer was punched in the head. That's my thoughts on the matter. So I understand that threaten can mean different things, and I understand I'm a white guy I'm a white straight male who has the least to lose amongst the different types of people that make up the liberal class in this country. And yet I think that at least gives me a little bit of separation from the issue to say, whoa, we got to be a little objective about this here. I think it's fine to slap Adolf Hitler with a leather glove. Well, sure. Go back in time and do that and tell me how it works out. Nick, how many different cities have you lived in? Let's see. Maybe 5. And when you say lived in, I'm saying like long term. So I'm going to say 5. Over 3 different states. And I've visited many other states in the country. I've never been out of the country, but I've visited many states within the country. You should send the dude talking about your problematic views a lengthy response, played totally straight, then sign it as yourself, see if they notice. You know what's funny? I was going to post, the guy who posted on, that guy who posted that thing on Board Game Brawl, I was going to write back and say like, oh my god, I didn't know one of our employees was doing this. This is terrible. I'm going to take care of this right away. And then I was going to say something really raunchy, like, now right now he's taking care of me below my desk, but once he's done, no. But I was just going to go really far with it. But for whatever reason, the post he made, I couldn't respond to. And so I deleted it. If I can't respond to it, I'm not just going to let it sit on my wall. Otherwise, I would have and had some fun with it. Never get in an argument online. That being said, Richard Spencer called for the eradication of the black race, so who knows? Well, again, he's a vile person, and I will not lose an ounce of sleep if he were just to like get into a car accident, or if one of his own kind, that kind being awful, fucked up people, were to take him out for whatever reason in some sort of power struggle. I wouldn't lose an ounce of sleep. A minute of sleep over it. But if one of my people were to do that, I would be very afraid for what would come next. For all of us. Richard Spencer will marry Ava Lyon from Canada, and they will live happily ever Nazi. What is Ava Lyon? Is that like one of the new models of Evangelion? Because that sounds really cool, actually. I'm guessing it's not. BGG's top 100 has become useless. I mean, I guess it may have always been. Seems crazy how many recent games are up there. I wonder about that too. And I wonder about me being in a glass house and throwing those stones, because I have new stuff on my list all the time. But I'm very upfront that my top 100 list is just what I like right now. It is not sacrosanct. It is not set in stone. It will change every year because it's just the nature of it. Some things won't. I'm pretty happy that my top 10 has been consistent. I know Kingdom Death Monster came out of nowhere, but even that's been on the list for a couple of years now. Seasons has always been on the list. Small World, Imperial Settlers, those have always been floating in or around the top 10. But anything past, I said this in one of my videos this year, anything past like 20 to 30 is a fair game to be changed and swapped around. So if my list is only a popularity contest of what I like right now at this particular moment, what is popular for me and my group, should I judge Board Game Geek's list for being that way? I don't know. It is weird. My concern is that there's a few people influencing the hordes of people, and I mean reviewers. Right now, there's only like 5 or 6 reviewers that everyone watches. Maybe not even that many. I'm talking about people with I'm talking about reviewers with like really wide reach over like whether it's YouTube or a podcast. They just have a really wide reach. They're very well respected on Board Game Geek, and Board Game Geek are the people that are voting in these polls, right? So forget everything else on the internet. And so goes those people's opinions. So goes everyone on Board Game Geek falling in line. And that's where I always go with the danger of how much influence and hold publishers have on those reviewers. They are friends. They go out to dinner with each other. They back each other's Kickstarter campaigns. They give each other free stuff for their campaigns and all these different types of things. Free promotion for each other. One hand washes the other, as they say on The Simpsons. And then, so that happens. It's almost inevitable that the reviewers give these publishers and their new games lots of good free press. Then you, by pure coincidence, I'm sure, see those games rise up in the ranks on Board Game Geek. Why would that be? And then you get into the whole matter of people rating games they've never played, people rating games at 10 just because they like the people involved with the game and never ever changing their ratings. And then, yes, you start to realize that maybe the Board Game Geek Top 100 is... the future ain't what it used to be, in other words. Are you excited about Pandemic Legacy 2 coming out this summer? Sure! Like I said, I just restarted the original Pandemic Legacy and I'm enjoying it greatly, so it would be great to roll right into the next one. We'll see how it goes. Just got Marvel Legendary. Love it! Which expansions, in your opinion, should I get and in what order? In my personal opinion, you should get the big box expansions. I still think Dark City, which was the first big box expansion, is for the types of heroes that are in there, a lot of the major heroes and the villains that you get, or the masterminds you get to fight, I still think it's the best set. So get that. Get Dark City. And then I also like Secret Wars and Secret Wars 2. They just have weirder characters. But I liked a lot of the stuff in there. Some new ways to play the game, too, if you're so inclined. Civil War... I wasn't as in... Civil War made it onto my top 5 expansions of the year because it was a big box legendary set, so of course it did. But I didn't like it as much as those other 3 I just mentioned, but it's still very good, and it's a big box set. Now, there is a legendary villain set, which is the only other base set of the game, meaning it has all the cards you need to play it right out of the box. You would want to get that eventually because there's so much content and so many new things. The only thing that's annoying about that set, they were like, oh, we're going to make this a whole separate subsection of the game where all the terminology is different and the board is different and all these different things. And then they quickly abandoned that because it was stupid. So you want to get it eventually, but I don't think it's necessary. I think as long as you've got the base set, go for the other big boxes and then work your way around the stuff that you like. So if you like Guardians of the Galaxy, get the small Guardians of the Galaxy set. I hope you don't like the Fantastic Four because they don't make that set anymore, or that you'll have to pay hundreds of dollars for it, which really sucks. And I hate to say this, it's a really good set. I don't like the Fantastic Four, but their cards are really great. Spencer is married to some Russian propagandist. Of course, David Duke called Russia the last great white hope. Enough about Nazis. Yeah, and that's another problem I think is, where does Russia play a part in this? So I don't watch the news anymore, Tiffany. We should all stop. But then you want to be informed, right? Like, you don't want to be one of these, like, wake up, sheeple, keeping your head in the sands. It's a tough road to hoe. I'm glad Spencer got punched. Fuck him. A lot of people feel that way. And again, I don't care about him. I will not lose a minute of sleep. I'll keep saying it, that anything bad happens to him. I just don't want the bad thing to be from us. Let's see. Do you have any must-play, must-review games in your queue that you are eager to get to? Yeah! I was going to post this on Facebook and keep you in suspense, but just yesterday, out of the blue, because I didn't get a notification first, in the mail came my Arcadia Quest Inferno set. So it's the base game, pets, and the something dragon. Oh, I got it behind me. This happy-looking fellow, who's kind of goofy-looking, but it is a really cool model. You can't really begrudge him that. And the head doesn't move. So he's kind of like Nick Fury. He constantly has to be moving around to see, because his peripheral vision is fucked. So there's that. Yeah, I'm eager to get to that. I'm still eager to get to the Mains of the Madness expansion. I don't know. I have so much other stuff. Some things I'm not really like totally excited. Some people want me to get to this right away, but I don't know. Now that I have it, I'm not too enthusiastic about it. Dragoon! What I'm not enthusiastic about is I think this was homemade. Because it came with no shrink wrap on the box, even though it was new. I don't know. It seems to be like people are crazy about it because it's got a fabric board and metal pieces and actual gold. I don't know. We got a few minutes left. Would Kingdom Death Monster be better if the characters were heroes that could really level up instead of ordinary people? No! That's the whole point. The whole point of Kingdom Death Monster is that you are playing survivors who are surviving by the skin of your teeth. That it's a horrible nightmare. It's supposed to be survival horror, and if you're just overpowered heroes, I think that would lose some of its charm. Now, having said that, he has teased the idea of doing a separate game that would be like what you described, where you are taking some of the really powerful people that are already powerful of the Kingdom Death Monster universe, the Saviors, the White Speakers, the Twilight Knights, and running through like a dungeon crawl campaign with them and fighting really powerful monsters that like the normal survivors wouldn't be able to take out. So I'm not against that idea, but Kingdom Death Monster itself, I like it as it is. It's supposed to be brutal, constantly on the cusp of death, survival horror. Are you fearful that First Martians may be this year's Seafall? Is First Martians the Robinson Crusoe Redux from Portal? I'm getting my Martian games confused. But if it is, am I worried? I don't know. I don't think so. And I have to ask what you mean by that. Now, I haven't played through all of Seafall. I was a little bit disappointed in it, and that's why I haven't revisited it. I'm guessing that's getting a lot of flack. I haven't looked at other reviews, but I've seen other comments like yours where people were not too enthusiastic about Seafall. Am I worried that First Martians will be like that? Well, Seafall kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, you have to understand that Rob Davio, who did Risk Legacy, had only done Risk Legacy, which was an existing game that he just put his legacy system on. He put the legacy system onto Pandemic and worked with Matt Laycock to do it. And Seafall, I think, was his first original game built from the ground up with the legacy system in mind, and apparently didn't work so well. So I guess I would say that, while I like Rob Daviau a lot, perhaps his track record for new original content is kind of spotty. But when you go to the first Martians, you're talking about, assuming we're talking about the same game, you're talking about Ignacy Trzewiczek, who has a great track record as far as I'm concerned. Even the games with Ignacy's I haven't liked that much. Were still like fine games, just not for me. But I love Imperial Settlers. I love Robinson Crusoe. And I don't think he can really screw it up that bad. That's my hope. I hope I'm right in that. I feel the board game balloon is about to pop. I haven't bought a game in many months, and I see many people selling a large amount of unplayed games. Any thoughts on when the wave will crash? I don't know that it's going to crash. I think that it will stop growing as fast as it has been. I think you will start seeing more people snapping out of their buying extravaganza. I've personally spoken out about my own extravagant spending on games, and the even more ridiculous spending I've seen people who aren't even reviewers spending on games, and how it is problematic in that we have become a community obsessed with acquiring rather than playing, and that's all real. And I don't think it's going to lead to a crash. I don't think you're going to see like what happened with anime in the early 2000s, where the whole thing just crashed and Best Buy couldn't get rid of their stock of anime. But I do think things will stabilize. That's my hope. I'm choosing to be optimistic about it because I think that some board game publishers have learned the lessons of other media that have had bubbles burst like that. Have you got any Kickstarter games that should arrive this year, and which are the ones you're looking forward to receiving the most? Well, I have a dismal hope that I'll actually get my upgrade pack for Kingdom Death Monster this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if I don't. So there's that. Seventh Continent. Is that what it is? Seventh Continent? Lost Continent? Whatever that solo card game is. I'm curious to get my final copy of that. I did a paid preview for it, which was nowhere near final. I backed Super Dungeon Explorer Legends, and I was hoping for that. And then I realized that I only backed it for $1. And now I'm like, oh, do I actually want to go through with pledging all the way for it? And I don't know. That's a curious one. But yeah, that's it. I'll put together an actual anticipated list. I just can't remember all the games that are coming out this year. Presumably, we're over time. I'll go a few minutes longer. Presumably, Fantasy Flight Games will pump out at least one more expansion for Eldritch Horror. Do you think we will get another big box based around Innsmouth? I don't know about the theme, but yes, we will get more expansion for Eldritch Horror. For better or for worse, this is their new Arkham, which means they have lots more to put out. Nick, have you ever heard of polyphasic sleep? Excuse me. That'd be funny. I've been doing it for 4.5 hours of sleep a day, and my doc says I'm healthy years later. How I did a full-time job and 18 credit hours in college? No, but it sounds interesting, and I'll look into it. Which new Kingdom Death expansion are you most looking forward to receiving? I like a lot of them. In concept, of course. I really love the idea of the Reverse Mountain. I really love the idea of the Red Witches. Those kind of interested me the most. I like some of the dumb promo ones, like the one where everyone's a Super Saiyan, and they're fighting against the Dung Beetle Knight who's like Cell. Is Nick trolling the Dice Tower now? No, I mean, if you're talking about my comments about the industry in general, I don't think the Dice Tower is anywhere near the only or the most guilty of any of the things I've said about getting close to publishers. Trust me. There's a lot of people that are a lot worse. You don't like the honest trailers from Screen Junkies? Why not? I hate those. I hate the honest trailers. I hate the cinema sins. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not of a right age for that. I have realized that there's just YouTubers who I don't get, and I have to believe it has to do with my age. I'm finally at that point. Hey Nick, what I meant by more content on my earlier post. I was talking about expanding your content, i.e. pop culture, movie review, etc. People watch and pay for that content. Well, I tried to do that. The problem is I can't split my focus. If I do one, I'm not going to have time for the other. If I try to do it on the same channel, people aren't going to watch one or the other. If I try to make a new channel, I don't know that I want that stress. I would love to. I would love to do movie reviews, anime reviews, TV series reviews, but I don't know. It's not a bad idea, though. I don't mean to criticize your idea. Is the Arkham LCG review coming? Yes, at some point. Idea for more content. Your friend who paints minis can do it in front of a camera. Boom! I'd watch that shit. I think he has his own channel, though. If it's who I'm thinking of. He's not actually my friend. He's just a person that did my minis for me. I backed Kingdom Death Monster and got the Beetle Knight during their Black Friday sale to see if the miniatures would be a deal breaker. It's not. I built the Knight, but should I build the armor sets? I haven't built the armor sets. I can't really comment on that. You should go on the Kingdom Death forums, and there's so many posts about that kind of stuff. Just look around. But yeah, I never got into that just because it's enough. It was enough work for me just to assemble the monsters. So I wanted to focus on that. One day I might do the armor sets. Although now they're putting out the narrative armor sculptures, I might just be okay with those. Joy says hi. Hi. Nick, any thoughts on a quick and easy dudes on a map game to bring out with my friends who I played Risk Legacy with? I was thinking Cry Havoc, but reviews turned me off. Well, I don't like Cry Havoc, but I actually thought a lot of other people did. I thought I was like the lone reviewer who didn't like it, but maybe I'm wrong. I didn't review it, but I've made a comment on Board Game Geek, and I've talked about it in my videos. Dudes on a map. Yeah, there's great Dudes on a Map games. If they're okay with Risk Legacy, well, that's not a complicated game, though. Scythe. Scythe is expensive. The great thing about Scythe is that it looks really complicated, but I personally don't feel that it is. I think it's pretty intuitive once you get down to it. Relax, get to it when you want to go. Isn't that what we were talking about earlier? Chaos in the Old World, although that's out of print now. Get it while you can. Dudes on a Map. I'm thinking about games that I like. Tyrants of the Underdark is a Dudes on the Map game that mixes deck building, and it's great. Blood Rage. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm sure people online on Board Game Geek can do better than me. Is your hand fully healed? Yeah, it's really weird. Sometimes I pick up a box at work and I still feel it's like tender. Clearly, it's not fully healed, but like I can do this now and I have no problem. But again, I can still feel a little something that I don't feel when I do that with my left wrist. Make your jokes, go ahead. But yeah, I don't know. I try not to put too much weight on it. John Wick is a 2-hour movie documentary about why thou shalt not kill beagles. And trust me, Nicholas, I know. That's why I do want to watch it, because I've heard that after that part, it's just the most beautiful on-screen action carnage ever. It's hard for me. You found my ridiculous weakness. Have you painted your Kingdom Death minis? No, some of them were painted by someone I knew a while ago, though. Bring on the next American Civil War. It's coming. Why not get it over with? I can give you a few reasons, Brandon. But listen, some people think that. Some people think we should just get it over with, like you say. I remember the most vehement anti-Clinton person on the Young Turks, which is a progressive left media outlet, anti-corporatists especially, and so therefore a lot of them they all disliked Clinton to varying degrees. Some of them hated her and voted for Jill Stein, and the maniac that really floated that was Jimmy Dore. And I remember Jimmy Dore said, it's okay, Trump is just the country vomiting. Like the country had a stomach bug and felt awful and terrible, and this is just the country throwing up. That's what Trump and his followers represent. And I'm thinking sometimes it really, really hurts to throw up, and sometimes it can deal long-lasting damage to your esophagus. If we want to continue with that weird metaphor. My point being that while we may eventually have to have some sort of civil uprising, it ain't going to be pretty. I don't think it's anything people should wish for. Slippery slope. I think the old norms are eroding and norms are important. I think so too. I think the problem is a lot of our norms are eroding and we're not replacing them with anything even remotely equivalent. What's your favorite family fun card game? Sushi Go, Zany Penguins, any others? Sushi Go Party is amazing. Love Letter is a standard. What was your most disappointing game of 2016? What was your favorite hidden gem? Disappointing. I think I was just thinking about that not too long ago. New Angeles was really disappointing. What's the other one? Seafall is very disappointing. Masmora was disappointing. There's a lot of games. I mean, I've played outright bad games too, but I've played an unfortunate amount of games that could have been great, and that's what my definition of disappointment is. Favorite hidden gem? I kind of feel like Automobiles was a hidden gem because I just don't see people talking about it or caring about it at all, and that was such a great little game. Not little, but it's a great game. No one talks about it. What is your number one prediction for the board gaming hobby in 2017? I think 2017 is going to be a shittier year than we had in the past couple of years. And people are finally going to say, oh, why? Uh-oh. I'm not saying the bubble's going to burst as someone else predicted. I think, at least not right away. But I think it's going to be a rough year. I call it board game acquisition disorder. BGAD. I have it. A lot of people have it. What new stuff are you pledging on right now? Nothing. I have no active pledges. The Kingdom Death Monster was the last one that resolved. Can you recommend a game to substitute Risk that is kids-friendly and can be played in less than 1.5 hours? We tried 8-Minute Empire, but we're not particularly impressed. Neither am I. I think that's one of only a couple of bad games that Red Raven Games has put out. The other one being Dingo's Dreams, which is vomitous. Any thoughts on Vinci? Well, if you're going to go Vinci, go Small World. Vinci was the prototype version of Small World, especially if you want something that's kid-friendly, because Small World has all these cute fantasy races. I know that some like very small percentage of people still like Vinci for some godforsaken reason. Maybe just the theme, because they don't like the cartoony aspect of Small World. But Small World has so much stuff. Just get the base game, that's a lot of content. Then you can get little tiny expansions for cheapo, and they give you more races to play with. It's great. Yeah, it's very simple and straightforward. That's a Dudes on the Map game too. Hey, I don't often read my compliments, but he spent a lot of time on this one, so I'll read it. I just wanted to thank you for doing the Q&A every week. My shift starts when the show starts, and always makes my day a little better while I drive through Bay Area traffic. Thanks for being so cool and patient most of the time. Wink. Yes, most of the time I am. But thank you very much for the kind words, Chef. I think we're winding down. Komet is Dudes on the Map. Oh, thank you, John. Jesus, Mary, Lord Joseph. Komet's phenomenal. What does the crown mean next to rankings on BoardGameGeek.com? Oh, I think that's what it means. I think it just means what its ranking is. I think. It's just to indicate this is the ranking. Yeah, Small World is basically the same game. It's more. I like the graphics better. Yes, you finally got your New Angeles review. I was disappointed in it. We'll get a full review at some point. Okay, guys, that's it. I mean, I caught up. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and end it there. And I'm over time anyways. But I had a great time. You guys asked some really good questions this week, as opposed to the other weeks where you guys just sucked. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. But thank you so much for joining me. I'll have some more content coming up very soon. Please be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for your faith in me and for sticking around. Patreon sell sheet going out hopefully tonight. I might stay up late tonight and do it, even if I do have a game group. If I don't have a game group, you'll see it even sooner. I'll just work on it very soon. So if you want to take a look at my sell sheet and have access to deep discounts on a lot of new games and older games as well, take a look at that. But I don't want to hit you too hard on that. Do what you want to do. I'm just happy that you guys are subbed and watching and asking questions. It's fantastic. So thank you very much. Have a good one. Have a fantastic week. Try not to get too depressed by the news one way or the other, because life is too good for that. Take care.